Welcome to the Tipsy Tennis Recap. It's been an exciting week at the Australian Open, and I'm here to give you the highlights and top stories from this week's action. To start off, the men's draw. What a bonkers week. Comeback after comeback, upset after upset, but the first name I would like to mention is Sir Andy Murray. Coming back from 2-0 down against Berrettini and Kokkinakis, this man broke the boundaries, he broke the matrix. Everybody thought he was done, and he comes back to pull out two phenomenal matches. I believe it is the longest matches he's played in his entire career, one of them being just short of the famous 2012 Djokovic-Nadal Australian Open final. Other top stories involve the Americans. 8 American men made it to the third round of the Australian Open this year. Unfortunately, top-seeded American Taylor Fritz is not included on that list. Huge upsets with Rafael Nadal, Daniil Medvedev, Casper Ruud, Cam Norrie, and Sasha Zverev all losing in the early rounds and not making it to the second round of the Slam this year. Not to mention Carlos Alcaraz and Nick Kyrgios pulling out prior to play. Nadal is out for 6 to 8 weeks with a grade 2 injury on his left hip. Now let's talk the women's draw. First, shout out to the 11 women who made it to the second round, proving the USA is a force to reckon with on tour. You're all champions. Notable upsets also coming from Iga Swiatek and Ons Jabeur. My thoughts on the Australian Open so far? Well, it's been an absolute blockbuster every single day. There is no shortage of action. It has been absolutely Wild West gunslinging tennis this week. The men, I think, are playing on much finer margins than they've ever played before. I noted in a previous video about the amount of tiebreakers that were played at the Nitto ATP Finals last year in 2022, and the amount of tiebreakers has been much more than previous years. The racket technology allowing players to hit the ball harder than ever, paired with the access to information previous eras didn't have. This includes gym exercises, dieting, data-based strategy, psychological development. The list goes on and on and on. Just really leveling the playing field, and it really comes down to who can execute better in that particular day. Off the court, there has been a lot of discussion about the extreme heat the players have had to endure. The tournament organizers have implemented a heat stress scale, pausing play for up to 15 minutes to give the players an opportunity to cool down on such a brutal sport, because they're the ones who are doing all the running for every single point, and there is no clock to run out. They need to get to match point, and they need to win match point, which is an incredible feat every single time. I remember watching the US Open finals between Medvedev and Nadal, and Medvedev is down 2 sets midway through the third set, and I tell my friend, man, the beauty in this sport comes from the fact that this match can be done in 20 minutes or 2 hours, and guess what? It took 2 more hours for Nadal to close it out. The mental strength that you need to be firing on all cylinders for an unknown period of time is absolutely astronomical, especially in Grand Slams where matches can last upwards of 5 hours. My predictions for who's going to win the Australian Open from here, well, I'm going to go against the grain and say that Khachanov and Djokovic are going to play in the finals of the men's draw, with Djokovic taking it down for the 10th time. Firstly, I got Khachanov because he had an extremely impressive US Open, proving to the world that he can win big matches. He's the biggest guy left in the draw, and most importantly, he has shown so much composure this tournament. Straight sets win in the first round, dropped 1 set to local favorite in the second round, clutch tennis by him to beat Tiafoe in the third round, and then absolutely demolished Nishioka in the fourth round. Bro, in the second set, Nishioka won only 2 whole points in the second set. Let me repeat that. Nishioka in an entire set won only 2 points, which is absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like that before, especially in a Grand Slam where the level is supposed to be the highest from all the players. Khachanov is playing like a top player should play, bottom line. Secondly, I got Novak because at the end of the day, this is fucking Novak Djokovic. He is the epitome of a winning machine. This guy just knows how to win no matter how he's feeling. Despite him not being in top form, he is so far ahead of the current field that not his best is still enough to take his 10th trophy home. Imagine being on the other side of the net playing Djokovic, having to win not one, not two, but 3 sets against him, and each set being one of the most difficult things to do in the world. Grand Slams favored these types of players time and time again, and I think this is going to hold true this time around as well. And now to my co-host, Misty, who is going to tell us her prediction for the Australian Open winner. Misty, who do you think is going to win the Open this year? Interesting. Why do you say that? Very good point. I respect your professional opinion. Well, that has been it for the Tipsy Tennis Recap. Thank you for tuning in this week, and be sure to check out next week's video as we go over the winners of the Australian Open by then. Till next time, my friends, stay tipsy.